Hello, and welcome to Stories from the View, a podcast from the Pleasant View Senior Center in East Longmeadow, Massachusetts. On this podcast, we invite East Longmeadow residents to tell us their stories about their lives and events, and today's guest is Bob Mazzariello. He was assistant principal at the high school for many years and is involved with the East Longmeadow Athletic Hall of Fame. And so we are pleased to welcome Bob, and here is your host, Mary Jenowyn Kaplan.
Thank you, Eric, and welcome, Bob. Thank you so much for coming today.
Well, thank you for inviting me. I was surprised, but it's an honor to be here.
It is such a pleasure to meet our guests, and one of the things I've learned is that people have many stories. And so when we invited you, we were anxious to hear about the East Longmeadow Athletic Hall of Fame. But now I hear you are the same Bob Mazzariello that's a painter, an artist.
Yes.
This is, people have many stories and many layers. So let's start with where yours began, Bob.
Well, you want me to comment on the Hall of Fame first?
Well, whichever works for
All right,
you.
let's do the Hall of Fame
Let's
first.
do the Hall of Fame.
As you know, I coached wrestling for 18 years and golf for 18 years, and we had state champions. We were very successful, and I was inducted into the East Longmeadow Athletic Hall of Fame, and I believe it was 2000 when I retired. No, wait a minute, it was later than that because I'm now president and have been for 13 years. And we have, I believe, 184 individuals, worthy individuals, and we have several teams, a number of teams. And if I could, I'd like to tell you just one story about one of our recipients.
That's why we're
This
here.
was at our last induction dinner. Her name is Ashley Pelzik. Her parents own Pip Printing in East Longmeadow. Ashley was a star athlete at the high school. She was the all-time leading scorer.
In what sport?
Basketball.
That's okay. Yeah.
She went to Annapolis, became the captain of the Annapolis basketball team, graduated, went to F-18 fighter school, became a F-18 pilot. She became a Top Gun. I don't know if you know what that is.
Yeah, I go to the movies.
Okay,
Yeah.
Top Gun, that's right. As a matter of fact, when they had the last Top Gun movie, she was invited down. She's a beautiful, articulate woman. She was, as I understand it, she was involved for 5 years with the what is it? What did I lost it? Her combat stuff.
Okay.
And she's just one of our recipients. We have many more. I'll mention one more, but
Very impressive.
names are coming hard to me right now, and it shouldn't. We had a basketball, football player, and his name is escaping me. Can you imagine this?
It's the microphone. It takes him right out of your
He
head.
he was a captain of the teams. He also was a Top Gun. That's the word I couldn't think of before. And he went, what the heck is his name? Oh my God! And he went on to become the commander of the Pacific Fleet.
Oh, my.
He was a aircraft carrier captain, and then he became the commander of the entire Pacific Fleet. If that name doesn't come to me, I'm going to ask you to cut me off altogether.
Did you have it written in your notes by any chance,
I didn't
Bob?
write
No?
the name
Okay.
down because I know the name so well, but all of a sudden, I'm having a block on it.
It'll come back.
Yeah, it'll come to me. So, we're having our induction dinner. It will be next November. We have them every 2 years. To qualify, we have a nominations committee, and you have to be out of the high school for 10 years,
Oh, okay.
okay? And I'd be remiss if I didn't mention we have an extremely, extremely good committee that does things for us. I get the name Pat Bean was inducted, and she's been vice president for longer than I was president. Ned Obenesser does our program, and then we have, Mike Roshilla, John Courtney is our treasurer, and we have Carl Olin, and these are out of my head. I get most of them, but I'm going to stop there before I really mess up,
But that's what helps you produce such a good product.
Oh, these people
because
are
everyone
incredible, yep.
pitches in.
Yeah, and then when the nominations committee has submitted applications with achievements of the individuals, then it goes to our committee and they select.
How long, do you know how long the Hall of Fame has been in existence in town?
Yeah, I think it's since, let me see, I've been on it for 13 years. And I want to say, I'm not sure, I think it's about 20 years anyway.
Well, that's an impressive number of honorees in 20 years.
I could be wrong again.
And how wonderful. The strong East Longmeadow roots, character building through athletics, and these folks grow up to become wonderful, outstanding members of society, including you, yes.
Rob Willard.
Rob Willard.
That's the name.
Okay.
Class 69.
Oh my God, this is getting to be a real test. Mm-hmm. When you get old, you lose it, but I have
You
so
got it
many
back.
and so many stories that it's just never enough time. But it's been a pleasure to be the president of that, and when Ashley Pelzick spoke at the last induction. First of all, she's a very beautiful girl. I have her picture in there. And she was very articulate. When she got out of the Air Force, she went to MIT, graduated with honors, and I believe now she's a vice president of, I don't know, a company that has to do with military aircraft, I think. And either last week or this week, she'll have her first child.
Oh,
Isn't that nice?
that's wonderful.
Yeah.
Great East Longmeadow story.
Oh, her parents are Claudia and Bob Pelzick. They are just the best people and the most supportive people you could ever meet. I'm telling you, I love them.
Mm-hmm. So if someone wanted to learn more about the East Longmeadow Athletic Hall of Fame, how could they do that?
Well, I'm glad you mentioned that because, see, unfortunately, there are a lot of people in the community still who aren't aware that we even have a Hall of Fame, which, by the way, is located in the high school by the gym, and all the plaques are up above, and around. So, but they could either contact myself or John Courtney or any of the members that they might know about, or they could call the director of athletics and have him give information as to how they could meet some of us or have their questions answered.
Mm-hmm. Is there a web page or a book or something that?
Not at this time.
Oh, okay. But it's right at the high school.
Yes.
Take some time, read the information, look
Well,
at the
we've had
pictures
our
on the walls. And
induction dinners at Twin Hills Country Club very often, and so that was good.
And I'm sure it's covered in the newspaper.
Yeah, but again, and pardon me for saying this, but I don't think we get enough coverage
Oh, okay.
for
It's a good story.
what we have and what we do. Yeah. That's it.
Great. Oh, that's wonderful. Thank you. Thank you for sharing the story because I did not know. I've only been in town 15 years. I didn't know
Oh, my
we
God
had an
bless
East
you.
Long. I know. I'm like,
Yeah, well, so,
some families have been here for a long time.
yeah.
So tell us about your other passion, your art.
Well, art was one of my passions. I brought this picture. I didn't know we were going to not be on, but I want to show it to you that are here. This is a pen. I'm sorry, a pencil. It's a pencil drawing of an individual by the name of Brooks Johnson.
Okay.
Okay, now here's the story. Brooks Johnson was a photographer.
Mm-hmm.
For many years, he did our yearbook pictures. He did my wrestling team pictures. He did so many other things. He was very, very good. And he became internationally known. And passed away. He had a brother, Stearns Johnson. And I don't know if any of you have ever heard of Johnson's Bookstore.
Oh, certainly.
Okay, well, Johnson's Bookstore was an extremely popular place. And when I was 9 years old, my mother and I were standing outside Johnson's Bookstore, and I was looking in the window. I saw this drawing table, beautiful drawing table. I said, Ma, I want that for Christmas. She said, well, I don't know. We'll have to see. So Christmas comes. There's no drawing table. But there's a box, about 3.5 feet long, square. I take it out. It's a drawing board. Wow, okay. So the significance of that drawing board is that every piece of art I've ever done, I got a drawing table, but now the drawing board's on the drawing table, and I do my art on that drawing board.
The same original drawing board.
The same original drawing board.
Wow.
Bless you.
What a great start you had for your
Yeah, so then
talent.
I did the art. There was a gentleman by the name of Paul Scott, lived on Sumner Avenue, taught oil painting. And then when Mary and I were first married, we lived on Washington Road, and so I took classes with him, and then of course I went to, I left him and I might have some nice oil paintings, but I went to him and to Doyle for a little bit, and I've been on my own ever since. So yeah, and as I said, people didn't know I did art, but now a lot of them do know I did art. I guess.
And this is a passion and hobby of yours.
It has been. Lately, it's been a little different because lately I've ended up doing portraits of friends who have passed away for their family. And I'm working on one now. But I haven't done it in a little while. That's another story.
So you've done oil painting. Do you work in other mediums also with art? I see a pencil drawing. So
Yeah, pen and ink and pencil and then the twig painting you use watercolor too, for skies and stuff. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I stuck with the same thing. Did a lot of pencil work. So and then I produced cards, 3x5 cards.
greeting cards, postcards.
Yeah, postcards, greeting cards. And I give those out. I should have brought a couple. I'm sorry. I apologize.
No
I'll come
worries.
back. I'll come back.
We're happy you brought your stories.
No, I'll come back and give you a couple. I promise. So
So you've been pursuing this hobby for decades,
oh God, since I was 9.
since you were 9, and you've exhibited places.
Oh God, yes.
Tell us where you've been.
Well, I like I said, in Norcross House, and then at the high school, and at Wilbraham Art Center, and
The Scantic
at,
Valley artists
yeah,
there,
and Scantic Valley Artists. Well, I was a member of their thing, so my work showed there a lot. And then other places, I can't think of any more right this moment.
But you did tell us you won a prize at a juried art show.
I did. That was
And for people that don't know,
that was
juried
at-
art means you have to be a
Yeah.
certain level of skill even to get in.
Yeah, there were 100 artists in there, and it was at the Trinity Church on Sumner Avenue.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Yes.
and so the funny story associated with that painting I showed you,
Mm-hmm.
that one, I was looking at it, and I was standing in there, and two guys were behind me, and one guy says, "That's a watercolor," and the other guy says, "That's an oil painting." I turned around, I said, "No, that's a twig painting." They looked at me like I had two heads.
Everybody's an expert. Yeah.
Yeah, so, but I had in addition to that, my coaching was important. You know, I always tell people I was a teacher, and a coach, and assistant principal, and I was school committee chair, and then I was a professor. I said, but the title I cherish most was that of coach.
So you coached wrestling and golf.
Correct.
Were you a wrestler as a young man in school? Or?
I wrestled at the Springfield Boys Club, which was mentioned in the book I told you I wrote, and I wrestled 4 years at Springfield College.
Ah.
Yeah, we were on four. I was on 4 New England championship teams.
Oh
And
my.
so, yeah, that was back in the day. I was a little lighter then, but
Aren't we all? And so were you a phys ed teacher out of Springfield College, or did you teach
no,
another
no,
subject?
no. I was an English history teacher.
Oh my.
Yeah, I taught English history, and then I taught writing a lot. I taught writing at Stick,
Mm-hmm.
and that was interesting because what was I going to look for here? And it was the writing was I enjoyed it very much. I actually have a book of what I call my Hall of Fame essays.
Mm-hmm.
You know, which when I was there, I was thinking about publishing it, but we didn't get to that. But that was
Well, maybe you will.
it was a good experience. You know, with I was trying to think of something I was going to show you here, but I can't.
Well,
They're going by so quickly. So, you know, I don't know what else I can tell you.
so you taught English and history. You coached at
Yeah.
the high school level.
Yes,
Then you became an assistant principal,
yes.
and that was at the existing high school now in town?
Yeah, I was Rich Fitzgerald was our principal. He's a super guy. And I was his assistant for 13 years.
Oh
So
my.
he was principal for 24 years. So the story I always tell is that he was principal for 24 years. I was his assistant for 13. That many only had to work for 11 years. Yeah, but oh, bless you. So
Okay. So you served as a school committee member in town?
yes,
And
I
you
was
taught
on-
at Stick?
Yes, I taught at Stick for. I retired after 40 years, or 36 years at the high school, and then after school committee, and I went home and was getting ready to enjoy my retirement, and my wife said, "Go find something to do."
Mm-hmm. Not hanging around here.
So I ended up at Stick because a couple of principal friends of mine from other schools, the Cavallo brothers, one from Agawam, Paul Cavallo, and then at Ludlow, Jimmy Cavallo, they were at Stick teaching. So we were all teaching in the same department, the same subject, and it was a nice experience for 13 years. We really enjoyed it. So yeah, that was good, and I'd be remiss, and I should have done this at the very beginning because I'll catch a lot of crap for that. But you know, my wife Mary, we've been married 58 years, and
It's impressive.
yeah, for her to put up with me, and I have 3 children. I have my son Bob is the oldest, who she knows, and my daughter Andrea, and my son Stephen. And Stephen is a PGA professional golfer at Stockbridge Country Club up in the Berkshires, which is a very exclusive place. And
Good genes and good early training, I
oh
guess. Huh?
God, yeah. And then I mentioned my two grandchildren, Steve's children, are Eva and Jimmy, and my daughters are Mari and Luke. And if I may, if you give me a moment, I'd like to show you a picture of, let me see, where is it?
This is the let me tell you about my grandchildren
Children piece, yeah.
segment.
But I'm very impressed you got all the names right.
Yeah,
Sometimes
no,
I get a little
this
confused.
is great.
So that's good.
I hope I'm not boring you.
No, not at
this
all.
is
No,
good.
no, this is wonderful.
This is my granddaughter, Mari.
Oh my, she's a model.
She was a dancer with the Rockettes
Oh,
in New York, and she was just graduated from Marymount College, and now she's dancing in New York, not with the Rockettes, but with other companies. And she's doing choreography, and my Luke is going to Wentworth, I believe it is,
in Boston.
for engineering design, and he is a super kid also. Let me see if I got him some. I got him all over the map here too, but yeah, here he is. Well, this is when he was a little younger, but that's him.
Oh, good looking kids.
Oh my
yeah,
God,
yeah, nice family.
yeah, they're really good. My youngest granddaughter is 12, and she's on the national soccer team. They're not only
Yeah,
handsome and
they're,
beautiful, they're talented.
they're talented
And
and
my-
hard workers because you
and
don't
my,
get there.
10-year-old Jimmy is a super soccer player. He's been all over the country. Oh God, how they can do it now. When I coach my kids, we're in East Long Meadow. If we went to Forest Park, okay.
Yeah.
But now they go to Philadelphia, they go to New York. Eva went to Disney World to play.
They
mean,
travel the
great.
world. The world has changed. It's gotten smaller.
It has for them.
But it is interesting to hear their impression and to see what they can accomplish.
And they're as bright as they are beautiful. You know, they're very fortunate.
Oh, that's great. Did I hear you mention that you have some books? Did you say that?
Well, I did a book on my art, which is mainly a collection of the pictures. I've got to do a second edition of it because I only have the first 20 or 30 years on there.
A mere 20 or 30 years.
Yeah,
of your
and then
art,
and also the twig paintings are after that.
Mm-hmm.
But the book I wrote was the book called Smashed Bologna Sandwiches. It was a book on.
Tell me more.
It was a book on Springfield, growing up, and now with the boys' club camp growing up. There was my first wrestling coach was Larry Weekly, a great guy. Wrestled at Springfield College, was a football player, and he was from Canton, Ohio, in the Hall of Fame area, and he was just a super guy, and he guided so many of us at the boys' club. We had a team, and I have pictures of it. And I could show you another couple of pictures after. But he took us to, there was little high school wrestling, none. So we would go to prep schools. And we wrestled prep schools and we would wrestle college freshman teams.
Wow.
And we were a bunch of dead end kids. And I shouldn't even tell you this story. I don't think it'd be
Oh,
interesting.
we want to hear it.
We'll take it.
We went up north to, now I forgot the prep school, to a prep school to wrestle. It was a pretty famous one. We went in, and they were looking forward to beating us. And I won't get into detail, but we hammered them. And then we come down while we were in the shower, and the guy comes in and said, You are invited to tea. And one of my fellow wrestlers goes, "Oh, I love tea." So I don't know if I'm boring everybody.
No, you had a cultural experience during wrestling.
So we came down and they had this nice room, you know, it had all kinds of pastries and stuff and everything. And so we pretty much cleaned up, you know, we left. And then we got in the car and then we realized it was Saturday. And on Saturday they had, you know, baseball or they had basketball, swimming, and all these other meets. That was what the food was for.
It wasn't for the
All the
wrestlers.
teams, not just
All the
wrestling
teams.
team. We cleaned up.
That is funny.
Yeah, the prep school was up on the Vermont line. I used to officiate there. I officiated wrestling for
Like
30
Northfield,
years.
Mount Herman, or somewhere up
That's
there.
what it was.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for helping me out.
Every once in a while, a trivia fact pops into my head. Yeah.
So anyway, the book, and it talks a lot about the Boys Club camp, which will take me too much time to go into, but everybody's curious about the title. And I always tell them, there'll be one exam question after you read it, and that's, where did the title come from? Okay? I'm sorry I didn't bring a book for you. Would you like a copy?
I would definitely. That
Is it available?
Is it available? Can we get it on somewhere? Amazon?
No, I have it. I just, I had it published myself. I had 3 different publications. Are you here at all?
Volunteering Wednesdays? A lot. Volunteering, yeah.
Okay, well, you gotta leave me your name again and I'll get you a copy and maybe you could share it with these guys.
I would be happy to share it, and then we can put it in the library here after we've read it.
Okay.
So
Yeah,
that
right.
others, because they will hear of
Right.
it.
Yeah.
You know, speaking of
And
your
then we can
library,
pass the quiz.
I saw you have a lot of books out there. I have hundreds of books. I was a voracious reader, and I want to give a lot of them away, but it's hard to do. Nobody wants to take them,
Mm-hmm.
you know, or only a few, and so I don't know if the senior center is interested in some.
The senior center will take them, and I can say that I'm here a bit, Eric's here a bit.
Yeah.
I see people come in with 3 or 4 they've borrowed, they return them, they take
Right,
out some
they take
more.
out some more,
This is
yeah.
well used.
Okay, so because you guys have been so good, and because there's not that many listeners, I guess, I don't know if there's 100,000 or what.
Well, after this, could be.
I doubt it. But here's where the title comes from.
Oh.
Okay,
This is it. You heard it
All
here
right,
first.
yeah,
We
he's
had-
giving it away.
we had a song we used to sing, I can't remember, on Monday, we had, on Tuesday was hiking, Wednesday was boxing, Thursday was movies, Friday was fish, Saturday was payday, and Sunday was church. Okay, so Tuesday was hiking. So we'd get lined up to go on a hike. We usually would hike from Brimfield up to the Little Alum Lake.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, up by, is it Palmer? No, anyway. So we'd line up, and the chef would give us a bologna sandwich and a piece of fruit, and, you know, for our lunch. Well, this was
The
way
lunch
back.
of my youth, too. So.
Yeah, we were Boys Club boys back in the day. And we didn't have backpacks and the like. So we'd put the sandwich in our pocket.
Oh. Okay.
And by the time we got to Little Allen, it was smashed. So that stuck with me. And that's the title.
But that's a great story.
Well, usually on a book, the title is, I think, drawn from within the work. I think.
In the best books, anyway.
Yeah, so I've been asked to do a number of other books, but I'll tell you, I'm getting a little old. Yeah, one on school experience, that would be a good one.
I bet you saw quite a bit. starting as a teacher and then,
Assistant principal.
yeah.
Down in, I started at Birchland Park in the 7th, and Paul Cavallo, who I said was on, taught with me at Stick, he was in the next room. He started there, and then he went to Agawam. Yeah, he's a good guy. He's the state rep, he's on the council.
Oh,
Been on
their
the
town council?
Yeah, for many years. I don't know if he got off it this year or not, but I think he's still on.
Mm-hmm.
So that's that situation. But
You have had a fascinating life. You've got a few things done. You've experienced
well, I
much.
was very active and always moving, doing something. The officiating for 30 years was good, and one of my best friends, well, he was my best man at my wedding. Joe Lisi was a wrestler, and he was a great wrestler. He was in the National Hall of Fame for wrestling.
Wow.
So, I actually loved that guy. I loved him. Anyway, I wanted to show you a couple of pictures, but I don't know if I should do it
Well,
now.
we'll do it after because our listeners
I
can't
think-
see them.
I think they're tired enough of hearing me, so,
Are you planning any other exhibitions of your work, your artwork?
Not presently, but, it's always a possibility. I actually came here once to see if they wanted to do a show of mine, but
Well, we had an art show probably about 6 months ago, right? That
There are
did
a
have-
couple of things coming up.
yeah, but you normally have a number of different artists.
Right.
yes.
See, I've done one-man shows. I'm not against showing my work with other artists. I've done that forever. Hamden, the Scantic River
Yeah.
club I showed all the time. It was wonderful. But I'm getting a little lazy too, so I don't know if I'm ready to do that.
Well, we would love to have your works for our show.
Well, that's nice of you, and I wouldn't mind. What do you want? 3 works? Is that what you normally get?
No, it's
It was like a number. Of,
yeah.
It could be 3.
Yeah.
But
I think
the staff will contact you.
I think I
Yeah.
came once. I wasn't involved.
yeah.
I hope I have this right. And then the artists were standing 1, 2, 3, and they would call the numbers for bingo. Maybe this was the bingo thing, and they would go forward if they had number 9 or 3 or.
Yeah, no, this was strictly an exhibition
Yeah, okay.
that we had here, and the artists stayed with their works. And they were able to sell if they were interested in selling.
I've sold some,
We had a panel discussion amongst all the artists, which was interesting for some people who came to attend.
Yeah, I'm
so-
interested.
Yeah, because I hear very nice things about your twig painting in particular.
Yeah,
So-
I have a number of those still, and I have a number of our oils, and I'll show you a couple of those. But yeah, so
I guess I am also most impressed that so much of your work has been supporting the community and helping young people. The number of lives that you've touched
well,
must number in the bazillions.
you know what the reward is for that?
What?
I'll be out on the street. I mean, every day. Former student of mine will come up. They'll hug me, and they'll. And a former athlete, and I still have contact with a number of the athletes, and I had some great golfers, and my son was one of them, but it wasn't. He was with Coach Courtney, who's been there forever. They just did a tribute to him, which was well deserved, and our treasurer at the Hall of Fame, and so it's rewarding. I'll tell you a story. One time we were up at the Holyoke Mall, and we were walking, and these two women were coming towards us, big, heavy women, you know, and they were. And my wife got a little, so she started to move closer to me, and they got within like 5 yards of me, and one goes, Professor Mass. Professor Mass comes over and gives me this big hug. It was one of my students at Stick. So that was funny. But I have that all the time, and that's the rewarding thing. But of course, I can't remember names now. But it's funny with the athletics. I can always remember if there was a wrestler, I couldn't remember what meet he was in. You know, the meet, who we wrestled, what happened. You know, I remember all that stuff. But you know, I got a lot of memories. So.
It is funny what sticks in our heads.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
This has been unbelievable, but I hope I didn't bore the audience. And
No, thank you so much
well,
for
I
coming.
thank you for thanking me. But
And-
I got to put down. I got to get your name again and your
We'll
phone
absolutely
number
share
so
that.
before I leave.
And we'll send you a link.
And are you
so that
here
can
tomorrow?
look at- No, tomorrow's Saturday.
Oh, that's
They're
right.
closed.
When are you here?
I'm pretty much here every day, off and on,
And
sometime.
you say you're closed on Saturday?
This senior center's closed, only Monday through Friday.
Oh, really?
Right.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So, Eric,
All right.
take it away.
Well, thank you very much, Bob, for
Thank
being
you,
here.
Eric, for having me
Yeah,
done a
really
nice
great to
job.
meet you. Yeah,
in
yeah.
an emergency situation.
We got it working. So thank you so much for being here. So that wraps up another episode of Stories from the View. We'd like to thank Bob Mazzariello for being here today. The Stories from the View podcast is available on the LCAT 01028 channel on YouTube, and we're also on Spotify. If you have a story you'd like to share on the program, contact Pleasant View Senior Center Director Aaron Kobler by stopping by the Pleasant View Senior Center or by calling Aaron at 413-525-5436, extension 1401, or you can send Aaron an email at aaron.kobler@eastlongmeadowma.gov. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time on Stories from the View.